boys and girls, today I'm going to show you how to draw a room in one-point perspective. So you can see that things are on the side. I'll use a dot that it would be in the center to draw the width of the doorways, the paintings, the posters, and other things. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do on your paper is you are going to draw a line from corner to corner, and then the other corner, corner to corner, a diagonal line. I'm going to use the 18-inch ruler to do this. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the corner to the corner. I'm going to hold it in the center, and I'm going to trace away from me and bring it towards me. I'm not pressing down hard because I don't want that line to be really dark. A little bit of oil pastel on the table. I'm going to go from corner to corner, very carefully trace that line so that you've now created an X in your page. Right in the center where those two overlap, I'm going to add a dot. This will be my vanishing point where things look like they're disappearing back into. Like if you were drawing a road, it would get narrower and narrower as it comes up. But we're not drawing a road, we're drawing a room. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a smaller ruler so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to measure from the center out 3 inches. Remember the inch side and not the centimeter side. So at the center, I'm going to go to the big line where the number 3 is, put a mark, and I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. If I don't do this and I just try to connect it together to make my box, it always ends up a little bit off. So make sure you're starting at 0, 3 inches, 3 inches right there on my line. I'm not putting it at the space in between my lines out here. I'm putting it on the line. Now I have a place where I'm going to connect the dots. I'm going from dot to dot where the line is to the line to the line, the dot to the dot where the line is, and then I'm going to do the sides. Now if yours does not match up, go back and check your measurements. One of them is probably a little bit too big or another one's probably a little too small. This is going to give you right angles. Architects use this type of drawing all the time. Now I'm going to erase inside of my rectangle, I'm going to erase the X, but I'm not erasing my vanishing point. I'm going to be using that vanishing point throughout my drawing when I'm drawing things that are going away from me. My vanishing point is left there, so I've got my walls on the right. This will be my ceiling and this will be my floor. Now if I'm drawing something on the sides, I'm going to draw it using my vanishing point. The height of it will start at the ground. Let's say I'm drawing a door. I want a door right over here. You can put it anywhere inside these trapezoid shapes, but it has to start at the ground and it's going to go straight up vertical. You can see that it's going to be parallel to this back wall here or the outside wall here. I should not see a diagonal line. So it's going to go up however tall I want it to be, and just know this is your eye level. If you have a door stop shorter than this, you're not going to be able to walk through the door. So I need it to go up a little higher. I'm going to use my vanishing point at the top of the line segment, and I'm going to draw how wide I want that door to be. So if I want it that wide, the next line that I do to finish my door, I do not put a diagonal line. Remember, anything coming up from the ground will go straight up and down. So this line, and this line, and the outside of the page should be parallel. If I want a handle, I put an oval because from the side it looks like an oval instead of a circle. Same thing if I were to draw a poster on the wall. I would not put my ruler diagonal. I make it go straight up and down. Draw how, let's say I have a very narrow poster right there. The top and bottom of the line segment, I'm going to use my vanishing point. This is my vanishing point. And this one's my vanishing point here with the top of the line segment. Draw how wide you want it to be. They should be the same. You can even measure them. And then this line, just make sure it goes straight up and down. Now I always put my ruler on the left side since I'm tracing on the right. If you're doing this, you're having to reach over yourself and it's hard to trace your line. So now I have some sort of thing that I can hang up. Maybe it has my name on it or something, some sort of decoration. Now some other things I want you to know, these are flat things that you would draw on the wall. If I wanted to draw something like a flat screen TV or a fish tank going into the wall, there's an easy way to draw those. If I'm drawing something popping out of the wall, I'm going to draw a rectangle close to the outside edge. So let's see, I'm going to draw a line. Instead of using my vanishing point right now, I'm just drawing how thick that TV is. I'm drawing a regular rectangle. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use that vanishing point to draw the width of my TV. So I'm going to line that up, the corner that I get to first. I'm going to line it up with my vanishing point, draw the width of the TV. Usually they're rectangles, not squares. Line up my vanishing point, bring it to the corner closest to my ruler. Should be the same length here. If not, just kind of guess. But this back line's very important. Just like on the door over there, anything coming straight up needs to be parallel to this wall here or the outside. Excuse me. Now other things you can do is you can kind of sketch in the plastic edging of the TV. You can put some buttons or HDMI cords to make it look more like a television. You can draw something or write something on your television. Now let's say I wanted to put something into the wall. If I want like a little shelf here going into the wall, or a bed in the wall, or a fish tank, I only have a little bit of room, so I don't have much room here. Let's say I want a window with a seat that goes in. I'm going to start, instead of drawing my rectangle on the outside, I'm going to draw that rectangle closer to this far away wall. So I'm going to make it go straight up and down. A regular rectangle. The lines are not diagonal, they go horizontal and vertical. And then to draw the width of it, I always use my vanishing point if it's on the sides. The height does not. The width does. So how wide I want this space to be. Let's say I have a little cabinet or a fish tank. I'm lining it up with the corner, using my vanishing point to make this angle. The same thing with this one. This one right here, I line up my vanishing point with a corner, the vanishing point with a corner, and then all I have to do is draw another straight up and down line that connects all those together. Obviously, I made some of them a little longer than others. So let's say I wanted the width of that first one I did. So I'm going to line that up. It's parallel to this line, and this line. Except my ruler's on the wrong side. Let me get it on the correct side. I like these see-through rulers because you can really line up your lines and make them parallel. I'm going to connect all four of those lines there. These extras I can just erase. And now I have something going inside. So if it's water, I can draw a water line and put some little fish or some seaweed or some little plants or rocks inside of my fish tank. If it were a bed, you would draw a blanket hanging down. So you can see on this one here, I drew that rectangle, used my vanishing point to draw these angles here, and then I just added a pillow here. And if I wanted a blanket, I could have a blanket hang down, but this line would kind of go towards that vanishing point, which was right somewhere in there. So this part, I would bring that straight over. I got a 90-degree angle right there. So now I've got a little blanket and a pillow. Okay, some other things that I want you to know about. I've got something going into the wall, something coming out. I have flat things that are on the door. Now, if I were drawing, let's say, something on this back wall here, like a window, anything inside this back rectangle space, you draw it parallel to the sides. So it's not any diagonal lines that are using my vanishing point. Let's say I want a painting or a mirror right there. Let's say I want to add another door. Make sure it's taller than your eye level. I could put a window in that door. Maybe that goes to the outside. Palladian window. Regular circle here instead of an oval because I'm looking at it from the front. So that's how you would draw the back wall. That one's pretty simple, just a regular picture. It's the side walls that get difficult. Now if I were drawing, let's say, tile or wood down here, my vanishing point I would use to draw the lines going away from me. So if I were drawing, let's say I'll do part wood, skinny lines for wood, and see, I'm going to keep it connected to my vanishing point right there. Keep it connected to your vanishing point. The wood lines would each one, so as I pivot this around, you can see that they would each go to the vanishing point. You can see on this finished example, each one of these lines went to the vanishing point. A little bit of a dirty table. Okay, if you're drawing the lines that go this way in the wood, you have to keep them horizontal and not at an angle. If I draw them at an angle, it's going to look like that wood is coming up. So I'm going to add a little piece here, maybe a little piece right here, and I'm keeping my ruler even with the bottom of the page. If it were tile, let's say I just do a few pieces of tile, and then I'll show you some furniture. I'm going to use my vanishing point to draw each one of these angles. And you can see it's pivoting the other way now. The tile would start out as your squares being kind of smaller, and as they come closer to me, this space is going to get a little bit bigger each time. That's going to give you that illusion of depth. It's like an optical illusion. So you can see I got a big one, getting smaller, my smallest. So I've got wood, I've got tile. If I wanted to put a rug, a round rug, just remember, would be an oval. So if I had an oval. If I were drawing a table, just like if I were doing a round table, it would look like an oval, and then I can add the little sides to show its thickness. And now I've got a table where I can add little table legs in there, kind of hide some, looking further away. So that's if I were going to have a table or a round rug, either way. So I'm going to show you a little bit of front. Ooh, that could be a stool as well. Let me show you some furniture. Now, if I were wanting to draw a couch or a bed, the first thing I would do is draw what it looks like. So if I wanted to draw, I'm going to draw just like, kind of like a little kindergarten chair in here with some legs. Now, if I wanted that to be a couch, I would draw the width of it longer. A chair would be shorter. Everywhere I have a corner, I'm going to connect it to the vanishing point. So there, use my vanishing point. There, vanishing point. There. Now these are more of the simple type of furniture. If you're getting into couches that have the sides that have the where you can rest your arm, that's going to be a little bit different, a little more of a high school or middle school type level. Now to finish this off, the back copies the front. So if the front went left and right here, the back will go left and right. This part goes straight down. Remember, anything coming up from the ground needs to go straight down. This part goes over to the right, so I'm copying that same angle. This little part goes straight down, and then there's a little leg right in there. I can't see that other leg, it's being blocked by this little chair. So that's how I do furniture. If you want furniture against the wall, remember, anything going from the ground goes up, but if it's coming out like a bookcase, like you can see my bookcase right here, this is straight up and down, this goes over to the right like a letter L. I'm going to start with a rectangle. This can also be like a console that you put, or a TV stand you put under your TV that holds your books, that holds your video games, DVDs. This is going to end up being overlapped, so I'm going to erase a little of that so you can see it. The corners connect to the vanishing point. Corner to the vanishing point. Now, I don't expect you to finish this all in one day. This is a video that can go on for a few days. Remember, this back side here, the back line has to be parallel to these. Now, since this is below my eye level, I'm going to see a little bit of the top of this too. Looks like I made this a little bit too tall. Trying to get it right there. Okay, Now right here at this back corner, it's close to my eye level, so I don't see much of it. If it were above my eye level, I wouldn't see any of it. The back copies the front, so this one goes left and right. This one right here goes left and right. I only see a little bit on that top edge there. I hope that you could see that, and it's in the video. Okay, for lines in the bookcase, or this could be a mini fridge for your room, I'm going to line up my vanishing point. If it's a shelf, I like to put 2 lines, so that way you can see the thickness of it. So there I've got a little bookcase. Now I'm not going to worry about the part where this corner actually is going to come down, go straight over to this corner. It changes as it goes down further and further below my eye level, but you can see right here where that top line is. I'm going to make a line that goes over. And I found this line because it lines up with this corner of my little shelf. This goes towards the vanishing point. So that's a little bit harder to do. That's not something I expect you to have to know. But if you want to do bookshelves, just at least have a couple lines and then just fill it with some books. Maybe I want to put some books inside here. They kind of go towards the vanishing point, and then you don't have to worry about that back corner. Looks like you have some books. Maybe I want something sitting up here like some sort of light or a vase. Just something to make your room look a little more decorative. Let's see, so I've got some furniture. If you're doing a bed, you do it the same way you do this, except make it thicker and bring that out longer. If you want it against the wall, start it over here and then bring that rectangle out longer. Let's see, if you put something in the ceiling, you want to start it in the center. So anything that hangs down from the ceiling, you would draw an oval, draw a couple lines because you don't want it attached way up there. Unless it's one of those recessed lights where the light is up in the ceiling and you see it glowing down, you can do that. You can draw a ceiling fan, you can draw a chandelier. One thing I do want to show you is how to draw a skylight. The glass that's up in the ceiling, a lot of people like to draw that so they can see outside and let in the inside light or the outdoor lighting. It's kind of like you did this one. I'm going to start this way. I'm going to line it up with this line right here, parallel. I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'm just drawing a regular rectangle. I'm not using any vanishing point or diagonal lines. And I like to center it above my vanishing point. It makes it easier. Now, it doesn't really matter. You could have it over to the side. Now I'm going to use my vanishing point and the 4 corners that I have. Now, if you want to make it easier on yourself, you could start at the corner. Here's my vanishing point, and I could just make it go off the page. Then I don't have to worry about drawing the other line, that extra line that we added over here. If you want to do that, you could just connect the 4 together with a horizontal line. Vanishing point, corner, off the page, vanishing point, here's my vanishing point, corner, off the page. So this is the thickness of my ceiling, and out here I'm kind of seeing what is out there. Do I see a sun? Do I see clouds? Is it a starry night sky like Vincent van Gogh? Is it stars? Is it the moon, the sun? That would be outside. Or if you don't want to see outside, this can be one of those ceilings where it goes up into the ceiling and you can always add a big chandelier hanging down from the center of it. Those are all options. If you have any other questions, let's say I wanted a cabinet back here, because some people like to draw this. Always use your ruler. As you can see, that is not straight. I'm going to use my ruler to make it straight. I'm bringing it down past this line here, because that's where the wall touches the floor. I'm going to erase that line because it's going to overlap. So if I wanted to put like a little cabinet or a dresser back here, I'm just starting with a rectangle, then I'm going to use my vanishing point. This would go towards the vanishing point. I always do the one on the floor first because you know where you have to stop. So if I start here and stop where the floor meets the wall, then I know how long this space is going to be. This one will go towards the vanishing point. This one will go towards the vanishing point, and I'm making all those lines pretty similar and pretty close to the same size. It almost looks like a table that's fallen over on its side. Now the other side of it, remember, parallel. So if this one goes left and right, slide that up. The back one goes left and right. If this one is vertical, I'm going to slide it over right where that part is. Okay, so now I've got a little box. You can add details to it. If I want to have a drawer or something there, if I want it to have legs, I could make these legs instead. So that would be like a little desk, and then I could erase this part, or I can add another line and make it a little drawer. That back corner lines up with this one, and it's back against the wall, so that's where I'm stopping. That's how I know how short to do this one here. So this could also be a mirror. Maybe I want to be able to look in the mirror. This could be a fish tank. If you're doing the bed in the wall, don't make your rectangle so skinny. Make that rectangle wider so that you can have something going into the wall. You can see this one's a little bit wider. This is more of a window seat. Okay, if you have any other questions, I also put a light hanging down from the ceiling. You can see that. You can add curtains, the wood, something on a table. We're going to be using this on a green screen app where we can add a few cool things in it, but we'll get to that later. If you have any questions, just let Miss Adams know.